everyone. Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic kegerators are with Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. Hola. Buenos dias. Joining me for episode 345 is Mr. I Lost the Rubber Band, Jimmy.
This is why you shouldn't play with your ring.
Oh, you lost your ring. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I thought you were playing with a regular rubber band.
It was the my rubber ring.
Well, we should probably find that.
Yeah.
I was thinking if it was a regular rubber band, then, whatever. Let's just record. But if it's your ring, then, hold on, time out.
All right, we're back. Found it.
Crisis
slightly
averted.
under the couch.
You're still married.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh man, I go like weeks without wearing it.
Yeah.
I don't think the assistant cares too much.
Is she kind of like, yeah, if you want to leave, go ahead. Get out of here.
No. I think she knows that a ring does not signify. That's
a good word.
That's a great word.
Let's keep that word.
Signify our marriage.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than just this piece of rubber around my finger.
She doesn't have any angst to claim you from all of the groupies out there?
I guess not.
Okay. All right.
I did have an argument with her friend once, the one that we are no longer talking to, or that's no longer talking to us.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it that way. That even if I did get married, I didn't want to wear a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And she went off about that, pretty much that whole thing. Why? It shows that you're not, I'm like, why do I need to show that?
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter?
Uh-huh.
If I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to do anything wrong. Why do I need to do it? Why do I need to wear a ring? Like, I don't get the whole point of it.
The whole point is to show that you are taken to keep people from hitting on you.
Right.
Yeah.
My friends, we've done like when we were younger in our like late 20s, maybe early 30s, all the unmarried people would wear our friends' married rings.
Oh, okay.
And we would go out to a bar and the people that had rings on would get hit on more often.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And for the main reason I think of is because they know they're off the market and the ladies can have a little bit more fun.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
Around it.
Yeah.
And then so we'd wear the ring in the beginning of the night, and then in the middle of the night we'd take the rings off and give it to our buddies. And then we would try to close the night without the ring on, and they would get so confused.
They're like, "What are you trying to pull here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the ring attracts the ladies.
Interesting. I haven't found that to be true yet.
Well. You just don't attract the ladies.
I guess that I also need to go out in public more. So.
That could be too.
Yeah.
So anyways, how's life been? You've had a pretty stressful last 2 days, I've been hearing.
I don't want to talk about the last 2 days. Okay. I had to leave because I was going to kill somebody. So I had to go home and have some alcohol and relax for a little bit and try and just shut everything off. So
what did you have? Wine?
We had a Sauv Blanc to go with some pesto. I also immediately just started working on the rig.
Good.
Like I didn't even go inside. I opened up the garage and then started working on the 4Runner.
Cool. Yeah. So, get your mind off of it quickly.
Yep. I needed to. So with that being said, Morflate cannot ship anything right now. I'm hoping to get it cleared up the next few days, but just giving you guys hopefully, if you're waiting on stuff to be shipped, I'm working on it. I got to figure out who I need to shoot in the face first. Just kidding. That's a joke. Please do not report me.
There you go.
Anyways, so the last few days have been stressful, but the coming back from the trip on the Rubicon for the Rocktoberfest, and then that week up until Monday, so that 7 days there, fantastic. So,
but then Halloween, everything went downhill.
After Halloween, the day of Halloween is kind of when it all went downhill. So,
lovely.
But everything's going really well. I got some stuff done on the axles.
Ooh.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit here.
Okay.
Let's see. We also have some voicemails to get into.
Cool.
I got to work on a couple of other projects around the house. And that's all I got for today's. Oh, I don't know if we'll have time. We'll see. But I also wanted to talk about the fastest woman on Earth.
Yes.
Today.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got on the docket to talk about here?
I got a lift.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a facelift?
No, a vehicle lift.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Let's see. And then, I mean, if we wanted to talk about Halloween, we can. The only other thing that I kind of did in the last week is I went up to my buddy's cabin and helped him build a deck.
Have you seen?
Yes, I
the
have.
Australian. Okay, good. I almost went into trying an Australian accent talking about your dick.
Yeah. It's a beautiful deck.
That's a nice dick you got over there.
Yep. We should have Charles Locke call in and
talk
leave us
about
that.
his dick.
Yeah. Tell us about your deck, Charles.
I wonder if his deck is better than his neighbor's deck.
Yeah. Or him versus Aaron's.
Right.
Yeah. Who's got a bigger deck?
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Anyway, so
that is
if anybody has not seen that, go look up the deck cleaner Australian commercial.
Since we're on commercials, have you seen the ad? Kind of a commercial for the GFC camper shell,
like on TV.
I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram.
I think it was on Instagram. Maybe it might have been on YouTube.
Is it different from their normal?
It's not a camper. It's not a rooftop tent. It's just like a camper shell. It's just a shell for a truck bed.
Interesting. Right? Okay.
So it's more or less what they've always had. Mm-hmm. They just don't add the rooftop tent feature to it. So it's just like I could put a shell on the back of Charlotte.
Okay.
The commercial's hilarious though.
Oh, really?
Yes. Their ad for it is great. It really, I don't know if they got the people that did this other commercial or if they just were inspired by it, but it really reminded me of the Squatty Potty.
I haven't seen that one.
You don't know that one?
I haven't seen that commercial either.
Do we need to pause right now?
Dude, can we just play the audio as would it be worth playing the audio on the podcast? For the Squatty Potty?
We could try.
It sounds like it would be fun.
You might, we might get hit with a fine, but we'll see. It's not.
It's free advertising for them, or is it a joke?
No, it's a real thing.
Okay.
The Squatty Potty?
It's free advertisement for them.
Yeah, it's like a short stool that you put on underneath your toilet. So when you sit down on the toilet, your legs are raised higher and it straightens your bowels out. So it makes you go to the bathroom easier.
Okay.
But the commercial, it has a unicorn. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Here we go.
The visuals are really what's great, but the audio is pretty good.
Okay. Here we go.
This is where your ice cream comes from. The creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter. They're good at pooping. But you know who sucks at pooping? You do. That's because when you sit on a porcelain throne, there's muscle that's a kink in the hose and stops the Ben and Jerry's from sliding out smoothly. Is that a problem? I don't know. Are hemorrhoids a problem? Because sitting at this angle can cause hemorrhoids, bloating, constipation, and a buttload of other crap. Seriously, unicorn hemorrhoids? The glitter gets everywhere. But what happens when you go from a sit to a squat? Voila, this muscle relaxes and that kink goes away faster than Pegasus laying sweet sherbet dookie. Now your colon's open and ready for battle. That's because our bodies were made to poop in a squat, and now there's a product that lets you squat in your own home. Introducing the Squatty Potty. No, Squatty Potty is not a joke. And yes, it will give you the best poop of your life, guaranteed. I don't just mean you bloated lords and hemorrhoidal ladies. The Squatty Potty gives you a smooth stream of froyo.
This continues for another minute and a half.
Yeah.
Plus, when you're done, it tucks neatly out of sight.
Sure.
I think we get the point.
Patented design.
Oh my God, what did I just watch?
Well, since you're on, or are you on YouTube? Go look up GFC camper shell.
GFC camper shell.
We'll play the first little section of that.
All right, so I found the GFC camper shell.
I'll put links to both of these videos down in the description for you guys if you want to watch the full thing.
All right, here we go. Let's see what they got to say.
Gentlemen, I'm prepared today to introduce to you one of the greatest modern American manufacturing marvels of our time. Introducing the GFC Platform Topper.
Cut! Dude, your head's totally out of the frames.
Sorry. Some of you might be asking, what's a topper? Well, folks, this is a topper. You might have heard it called a cap, canopy, or shell, but around here we call it El Tabarino, baby. And it's a great one. Lighter than the taste of a Pamplemousse LaCroix and stronger than the scent of a cornered North American stinky skunk. And it's made right here in the fertile valleys of Bozeman, Montana. But don't take my word for it. Feast your eyes on this! That's right. We put a 4,500-pound F-250 on the roof of this topper, and you can too.
I can't say that.
Why not? We did it. Look, it's right there.
Well, we're professionals.
Ah, closed course. Well, you've got me. What should we talk about? Let's break it down. The topper can be broken down into 3 major component groups.
Okay, so
Can you feel the similarity?
Yes, yeah.
So I don't know if they got like the same director guy to kind of write a script or do whatever. But yeah, watching the GFC Topper video really reminded me of the Squatty Potty video that came out like 10 years ago.
Oh, geez.
Or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, those are my commercial updates.
Nice, I like it. Your commercial updates are much better than mine.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Where were we? What were we talking about here?
I don't know what led us to this. I've lost it now.
Welcome to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast, everybody.
That was a hell of a bird walk.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, let's see. We have a giveaway for this month.
We do.
Yes. We're doing one of those. It's like a 250, 260 piece.
I think it's
kit.
230 or 240.
230 or 240, somewhere right around there. But it's really cool. You get a lot of different tools in there. Pretty much everything you would need as a good starter kit for somebody, or as something to replace all of your cheap ones that you picked up at maybe someplace that rhymes with Schmarber Schfreight.
So, yeah,
Schmarber Schmate. But it comes in a really cool case with pull-out drawers where the case's pull-out game is really strong. It has a lid that opens up on the top to keep everything nicely organized. And you can kind of haul it around or take it from your garage out to the rig in the driveway, take it out on the trail with you. Really actually pretty cool, thought out little case there for a toolkit. So Gear Wrench has a bunch of them in stock right now. And so they've issued a big sale on them for everybody who can order Gear Wrench, all the retailers, right? So if you go into your local retailer, I believe Fastenal can get them, Napa can get them. There's a couple other ones nationwide that you can check in. Home Depot.
Home Depot has it, yeah.
You can go in and you should be able to request a special order on that and get a sale price on it because their prices should be quite a bit lower for purchasing right now than they typically are. So go in and do that if you don't want to wait to see if you can win one in the giveaway this month. So this month is, of course, that, and that's what you have to get in on. You got to sign up before November 31st.
Sure. Yeah, let's see here. So I just pulled them up on Amazon, and they are typically $500 and roughly $30 or $615, depending if you get the 230 or the 240 pieces. And they're pretty much half off right now on Amazon. And you can get that an even better deal if you go into a retail store.
Yeah.
But we're going to be giving one of those away. I'm not sure which one we're getting yet. So we'll find out here fairly soon. But yeah, that screaming deals going on right now. On
yeah,
these
that's
things.
crazy. 50% off, man.
Yeah. And they're well worth it, man. If you don't have like a great organized little toolbox, this is an excellent solution.
Yep.
And I think Samurai James got one of these and is using it for his trail kit.
I believe so. Yeah. I bought one and gave it to Dylan for helping me with the body work when my dad ran into the back of Kermit.
Right. Yep.
And he uses it all the time. So, and I've gotten to use it too while over at his house, so helping out with some stuff. So it's a really cool kit, really well put together. And the nice thing about it is it's just all packaged the way it's packaged.
It's all self-contained.
Right? Yeah, it's cool. So anyways, you guys have until before November 31st to make sure you're signed up on the giveaway tier over at irate4x4.com. And then go down to the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. And then all your payment options are on the right-hand side if you're on a computer. They're down at the bottom of the page if you're on a mobile device.
Correct. And unfortunately now it is November. Well, fortunately for me, because it's Jim's month.
It is Jim's month.
But the gift box tier is closed. So you, if you missed it, you missed it. And you're going to have to wait till April.
With the gift box being closed now, that means it's also Jim's month.
Yes, it is.
It's Jim member. Jim, I don't want, no, it's not Jim's member. That's
Jim
a different
Tober.
Jim Tober. So that means we actually had a delivery show up.
Yes.
And it's for Jim's month.
Oh, perfect timing.
I know, literally. Do you want to open it now or do you want to open it on a later episode?
Oh, now. Give it to me now.
Okay.
Or should I wait?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
But you only get one gift. Usually I do like one a week.
Yeah.
And this one, I combined it all into one thing.
Okay.
So there you go. Don't break stuff as you're doing.
All right. It's, let's see. It's got a topo thing on it. It's 1 inch thick and probably 2 feet by 3 feet.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's see. So it's a piece of metal that has a picture of the Mandalorian on it. And it's cool looking. It's sort of dot. There's a term for that. Where it's a bunch of dots.
I don't know what the term is for that. It's essentially a metal print.
Yeah,
right?
It's a metal print of the Mandalorian. That's rad.
Yeah, I know that you're a big fan of the Mandalorian in the show.
Yeah, I do. I like the Mandalorian.
And somehow Meta, Facebook, found out that I really like metal prints.
Oh.
And so they started showing me a bunch of metal prints, and I found this website called Displate.
Yep.
And Displate it's a marketplace for artists to submit their artwork to be metal printed.
Oh, cool.
And then Displate takes care of taking their artwork, printing it on the metal, and then fulfilling the orders.
Oh, awesome.
And so the part of the proceeds go back to small business artists, and part of the proceeds go to Displate for running the marketplace for it. And they've got thousands of designs, and I'm like addicted. I go scrolling through it every day. And so I saw that one. Oh, mine's in there too. Okay.
I was like, there's something else in here.
That's good to know.
Which one did you get?
I got one that says there's 4 fucking rules for success. Number 1, set a fucking goal. Number 2, make a fucking plan. Number 3, do the fucking work. And 4, repeat. So
that's pretty good.
I'm going to start a collection with these and to decorate my office at the Morphlate warehouse here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with them. So anyways, I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, they have some Mandalorian stuff and Jim's month is coming up.
Yeah,
so
that works out good.
Yeah. I was like, you can get that. You can put it up in the shop. You can put it up in your office. Or you can put it up in your bedroom.
I might put it right up above my bed.
There you go. Right above the headboard. Yeah, on the ceiling.
On the ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't know if the assistant will like that, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. She'll deal with it.
Yep.
So anyways.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, man.
That's really nice.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're 1 year closer to senility.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get there. So.
Oh man. I feel like I should already be there at times.
Yeah, I agree. Being senile and running a podcast though, not a good combination.
It could be a great one.
It could be.
I'm sure there's a lot of podcasts out there that are just straight up rants. Like that's all they ever do is just somebody complaining about something.
I feel like Chris could start one of those.
Probably. Yeah. True
man.
that.
Anyway, so happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah. Actually, tomorrow, the day this comes out. is my actual birthday.
Nice.
Yep.
That's right.
42.
Wow.
It's the meaning of life.
I was going to say, that's one of the answers to life.
I know. We should have got me a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, that would have been another good one.
That would have been perfect for bringing it full circle. But Mandalorian's great.
Yeah, Meta apparently doesn't think I like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it knows I love Star Wars stuff. So that was one of the things that got presented to me.
That book is crazy. It's a great book. If anybody hasn't read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you should.
Nice. Yeah, I have not read it. I've seen the movie and I wasn't too impressed, but I've heard the movie
didn't do it justice.
Nothing justice towards it. So
it doesn't.
Anyways, the other one I'm interested to see come out is Dune. I'm waiting for the rest of Dune to come out because I'm like, I never read the book, but watching the movie, I'm so lost and confused about the whole point of this. But then you told me that it's like only the first half or something.
Yeah, this is the assistant. I told the assistant the same thing because the assistant was reading the book and trying to get into it. And because there's a whole bunch in the beginning of the book, they talk about everything. You know, they're trying to teach you about every single person, right?
Yeah.
The hegemonies and the, Duncan, Idaho, and, all the main characters and like all the different planets and who works on what planet and everything.
Okay.
And so the first like third of this book is just character development.
Jeez.
And she's like, I can't do it. Like, this is crazy. But then after watching the movie, she's like, okay, I understand who's who now.
Yeah.
And she went back and started where she left off in the book and was able to move on and then finish the book and got a much better idea of how everything came together.
Okay.
So I would highly suggest that if you, I know you're not a reader so much, but you do, I would say listen to it on a book on tape or a book on MP3 or whatever it is nowadays. Not many tapes out there.
Nope.
I would listen to the remainder of the story via audiobook one way because the movie's great, but the books are always better.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for the rest of that. I'm curious if they're going to be able to do it in 2 or if they're going to actually string it out and go to 3.
I think it'd be cool to see them string it out into 3 because from what you've told me, it's a really long story.
It's a thick
and
book.
there's a lot of stuff going on. So I think it'd be cool to see it in 3. I really like how Netflix has been doing docu-series lately.
Oh yeah.
They're doing miniseries, 3 episodes, an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And I like that one that way because you get so much more a feel and a grasp of the storyline of whatever they're talking about.
Sure.
And
instead of one movie that's 2 hours long.
Exactly. And so one that I got to watch recently was the one on Woodstock 99.
Oh, I haven't watched that one yet. Don't say
that's a good one. Yes.
Have you watched the Fire or the other one, the one that like completely failed? There's another
Woodstock or
not of Woodstock. There's another Fire
Fest. Yes, I saw the Fire Fest one.
Yeah, that one was funny.
That one was pretty good.
Yeah, I want to watch the Woodstock one. I've heard a lot of interesting things about it.
That one's a good one. Yeah.
I'm curious to some extent of what I've heard to see what the documentary is.
And what they come up with.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This might be a good segue into
Fastest Woman
on Earth.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to get through in housekeeping other than some voicemails. Everything is kind of business as normal. We didn't get the Patreon payments yet, so we can't go through and tell everybody who the FNGs are, the birthdays, and announce the giveaway. So we'll do that next Thursday's episode. I think it's a good spot to go into Fastest Woman on Earth.
Cool. So you actually got a chance to watch it?
I did.
Because I watched it last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think I'll say this now. I watched it before the Terry Madden thing came out.
Yep. And I watched it after the Terry Madden thing.
So that will be an interesting way. It might be interesting to see how I thought of the video before Terry Madden and how you thought of the video seeing Terry's talk first.
Yeah.
Anyways,
do we want to explain the Terry Madden video real quick first, or do we want to talk about the Fast Woman on Earth first?
Let's talk about the movie first.
Okay. Cool.
Or at least give a premise of the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe talk about Terry, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
Let's give. Yeah. What is the synopsis of the movie? Right. In 5 minutes or so. What happened? What was the documentary about?
Yeah. So the documentary is about Jessi Combs,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually wanted to make this documentary. Finding out a little later,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about her. What would be the proper word? Her journey to trying to become the fastest woman on Earth,
Mhm.
to break the record
Mm-hmm.
for the fastest on wheels
Mm-hmm.
on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a journey of multiple years of
Mhm.
Jessi's life and things that she had to go through and things that the crew and other people had to go through
Mm-hmm.
to try and make that happen.
Yeah. I think they started in like 2013.
It was a while ago.
2013.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good way of doing it. And they just start with the beginning and then just follow her along this journey
Yeah.
of trying to become the fastest woman on Earth, on the ground, right?
Yeah.
In a vehicle
Right.
on ground, not in an airplane or anything. And so her whole journey through it, some of the trials and tribulations they had to overcome, some of the technology things that they had to do to the vehicle in order to get it to operate the way they wanted it to achieve this goal. So that's kind of the overarching premise of this documentary.
Right. So before we go any farther, and just without diving into dissecting anything,
Mhm.
did you enjoy it, or yes or no?
Yes. I don't know. Yes and no. So I enjoyed the part about learning about this person's obsession with becoming the fastest woman on Earth, right? I think it's really cool to see somebody trying to step up and really doing that as a way to show that women can do things just as well as guys can,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And I enjoyed that part of it, but what I really wanted to know more about, and I really wish what I wanted from the documentary was a different documentary.
Okay.
I wanted to know more about what Jessi did in her career leading up to
Sure.
her passing.
Okay. Yeah.
And that includes, what did she do? I know, she had this interesting childhood, which they barely touched on.
Mhm.
She had went into mechanic school at Wyotech,
Biotech.
which they barely touched on. And then like from school to 2013, they didn't really touch at all on
No.
anything. And
Yeah.
that's the section that I want to know more about Jessi Combs about.
Sure. I understand that.
Yeah.
I believe the documentary that they were trying to make was her journey of becoming the fastest woman on the planet.
100%. Yep.
Right? And so it wasn't necessarily some of the backstory.
Uh-huh.
Right. And
Yeah.
I do think that they kind of missed that thing.
Yeah.
In the blunt overview, I did enjoy the movie though. It was good. And I had the assistant watch it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went under the premise of, hey, I want to start this. I want to watch it. If you at any point aren't interested in watching this evening, let me know and we'll just change it to something else and I'll watch it another time.
Yeah.
And we watched the whole thing.
Nice.
So she enjoyed it as well.
I watched it with the secretary,
Okay.
and her feeling about it was like, why would what's the point of trying to become the fastest person? Like, can we as a society gain some R&D from going 500 plus miles an hour? Or is there something that we can gain from this? Or is it just a personal achievement that somebody is trying to do?
Yes.
And that's all that it is. And I'm like,
yes to both of those.
kind of yes to both of those, but like,
I mean, obviously trying to go 500 plus miles an hour on the ground is hard.
yeah.
So there is an advantage there is a mechanical knowledge that you have to kind of have or learn to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was also a drive from the person
Yeah.
of wanting to do that as well.
Yeah. And so she just didn't understand. She doesn't understand the drive and desire to do something to say that you've done something that other people have never done before. She just doesn't understand that concept.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she wasn't a big fan of the movie. She thought it was well put together.
Sure.
But the premise of the movie just was like whoop over. She couldn't comprehend it, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I do think that the majority of people that are going to watch this movie are going to mainly watch it for Jessi.
I agree. Yeah.
And not so much of,
Hey, what does it take to break a land speed record?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I would agree to that. Yeah.
So, okay. So shall we briefly talk about Terry?
Yeah. I think,
who is Terry Madden?
who's the man behind the mask here? That's a good question. I don't know a whole lot about Terry Madden. I wish I knew more about Terry. I do know that he's big in the off-road racing.
Mm-hmm.
He's grown up in being a car guy. He came over from the Baja 1000 scene. He's kind of like the golden child of co-drivers for off-road racing.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah. And in the past few years, he's started getting more into driving, but he's a really, from everything I've heard about him, I've crossed paths with him before down at KOH, and I'm always so like starstruck, and I don't want to bug him or impede on whatever he's doing. So I just kind of let the opportunity pass each time. But he's a really nice guy. He goes out of his way to help people whenever he can. And everybody has nothing but great things to say about Terry. And so when the other part of it is that when Jessi passed, they were a thing. They were a couple.
Dating.
They were dating, and they were getting pretty serious about it. And he was also one of the driving forces behind starting the Jessi Combs Foundation.
Correct.
So when he all of a sudden puts out a video on social media saying that he has concerns about this documentary that he was a part of for 2 to 3, 4 years. I don't know how long it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he was a part of being a part of this documentary and being a very integral part of the Jessi Combs Foundation. And now all of a sudden voicing concerns about the video. It makes you kind of stop and pay attention to what he's saying for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I do think that, it was an interesting thing to have, and I think he kind of did it. It was an interesting thing to have him come out and do a public announcement about his concerns and his thoughts of the video, because he was also part of it to some extent of creating that video.
Yep.
And some of his concerns to me were, he was concerned about what Jessi wanted and what actually is happening.
What the final result was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he threw numbers out, and I don't know what the numbers were, or, I'm not sure how. I can't say if what he was saying was true or not. But he was saying, for the most part, what he was saying was that Jessi wanted more of the money from this documentary to go into what is now the Jessi Combs Foundation, but it was probably the girl. What was her thing? Girl,
all girls garage.
All girls garage. But I think she had maybe it was all girls garage. She wanted a chunk. Jessi wanted a chunk of the money to go back to something that she was
women
doing
in the trades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And supposedly after Jessi passed, the money is not doing that anymore. And a very small fraction of the money is going back to that, but not as much as Jessi wanted.
Yeah.
More people are lining their pockets now.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a lot of the big claim that Terry had. The other kind of big claim that he had was from them using her in-dash or in-cab footage at the time of the wreck.
Yeah.
In the documentary.
The last few minutes of her life. Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't agree with that at all either. And he was arguing that people, I don't want to say he wasn't necessarily arguing that people don't go see it, but he was arguing that, it wasn't really the film that Jessi had planned on being released. And it wasn't going to the same places that Jessi was planning on the proceeds going to. Therefore, you should go to choose whether or not you want to go and watch and support the film the film based on that information. So it's over on Terry Madden's page. If you look down his posts on his page, it's there. As of the time of this recording being released, it's 5 or 6 posts down on his page.
I'll see if I can add a link to that as well.
Yeah. We were going to play the audio here, but we weren't able to get in hold of Terry to see if that would be okay with him or not. So go watch it on your own. But it was a really interesting sentiment coming from him for this video, this documentary about Jessi's race and really goals and perseverance to become the fastest woman on earth.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought the movie was good. I agree with you. I wanted to see more of the history of Jessi.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that wasn't the point of the video. The point of the movie was to watch Jessi's journey to try and become the fastest woman on earth.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of us have been fans of Jessi for so long that we wanted to see more of the backstory.
Yeah.
To her life.
Mm-hmm.
And then in regards to what Terry said about the last few minutes, I agree. I don't think it added anything to the video by having it.
I agree as well. I think having the in-cab footage, as she's going through, miles 3, 4, 5, 6, being told to shut it down, and you could see her trying to shut it down and going through the processes of shutting it down and being unsuccessful. They could have cut it there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need to show what they ultimately, everything they did show. They could have cut that scene an extra second, a second and a half earlier, and it would have been just as impactful, if not more impactful. It just seemed out of bad taste the way they did it.
I think showing some of that, and then I don't know if I maybe would have gone as far as showing the distance cam of the black smoke,
and
then cut to a screen, and say, to say something that, of like, unfortunately Jessi didn't make it or whatever, but I don't think they needed to show the wreck from the over the shoulder camera.
Yeah, I agree. That was in bad taste, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it didn't and for the listeners that haven't seen it or maybe are considering it, it didn't show anything morbid.
No.
Right. It showed like a camera getting thrown very fast across a desert kind of a scenario.
Yeah.
But it didn't add anything. I didn't think it was a benefit.
It didn't add anything whatsoever. But so that was one thing that I disagreed with on the film. I thought that the production, the film could have done something different right there. But for the rest of the film though, I thought it was a pretty well done for the film that it was, talking about her journey to beat this land speed record, and what it meant to her to do that. I thought that was done really well.
Yeah, me too.
I have no comment about Terry's feelings about the funds of the film. I mean, they're really the only people that are, in my opinion, probably going to watch this on HBO Max are people that knew Jessi or knew about Jessi as her as a person, rather than kind of the general public.
Right.
That's going to be a mass media watched item. I mean, how much funds are really going to be coming about because of this video? So I don't have too much of a comment there. I would rather have the movie come out the way it did, minus that in-cab footage, than it not coming out.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Not really. You would have rather had the video as it is instead of not having the video at all.
Correct. Yeah. But that's still, but after all of that said and done, it's not the video I wanted to see about Jessi.
No,
at the same time.
Me as
So
well.
it's
But like we were saying earlier, it's like I wanted to see more of Jessi's story leading up to it. Some of, extreme 4x4 information, all that, but I know that wasn't what the movie wasn't supposed to be about.
But
that's really what I wanted to know more about. I really hope they dove more into that, and they didn't.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping somebody picks it up and does another movie really about everything she's done for women in the trades, for Extreme 4x4, for Mythbusters, for all these different projects she's worked on. Like, they touched a little bit on the 1001 things to do in a car show, and I was like, I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
I
one
went
either.
looking for it and I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I wanted to try to figure that list out and do them myself.
right. That's what I was looking at, but I couldn't find the show anywhere, and I'm like, I want to know the work she did on that show. Like, I think there's a lot more that Jessi Combs brought to the off-road industry and the automotive industry in general and the trades than just setting a land speed record.
Oh yeah.
And I really, really hope that somebody picks up that documentary and does that documentary. And then hopefully that documentary can be more of her legacy rather than just the land speed record, and the funds, whatever funds got mixed up or got messed up, that can get worked out for a lot of the proceeds to go back towards what Jessi's legacy really was.
Yeah.
Which is hopefully what the Jessi Combs Foundation is supposed to be standing for. I haven't looked into the Jessi Combs Foundation in the past year to see what's been going on, to know whether or not it is, to have my own opinions on whether or not it's on the right track for what she claimed she wanted. So I don't know. I can't really speak too much about the Jessi Combs Foundation. I think it is too bad that Terry decided to step down from the foundation.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know what that means for the foundation to have one of their founding members get in an argument with other members and then step out of it, when a lot of us have an understanding that Terry meant so much to Jessi and that Terry was one of the founding fathers for the foundation, and now he's no longer a part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what that's going to mean for the foundation in the future.
I don't either. Hopefully they can keep the foundation on the right track. But it's too bad, because I agree. Terry was extremely close. And I think that was one of the reasons why he made that video, is because he was extremely close to the situation. And, when you care that much about a person and a situation and their legacy, the problem with them being gone is that there's nobody there to really interpret what that person wants out of their legacy anymore,
or defend.
And so, him being really close to that situation, that person, it probably still was a very real to him. And rightfully so. So I hope that he can find his way back to the foundation sometime, because I don't know if there's anybody else more qualified to keep her legacy going other than maybe her family.
Yeah.
As to the direction of the foundation. So
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. If so, feel free to. I'll put a link down to Terry's chat or
his video
down below. Judge it as you wish, or feel free to check that out and check the video out however you want. This is your decision. Don't let other people make the decision for you.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we should move on.
Yeah, I agree. Go watch the documentary, make your own decisions. Listen to what Terry says, make your own decisions. So anyways, let's see. We have a few voicemails we can get to.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So our first voicemail of the day is from one of our rover buddies.
Oh, goody. He'll always bring some smiles to the podcast after that.
Yes, he does. All right, here we go from Donnie.
Hello, Tyler. Your trusty rover man, Don here. You were saying how lonely you were and feeling unloved on the Thursday episode. Thought I'd help you out there. Officially speaking, George Lucas has denied using the Port of Oakland cranes as the inspiration for the AT-ATs. But damn it, they look awfully suspiciously like them. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. Keep crawling, and you'd see Lorenzo wanted me to remind you. Yeah, Toyota's son.
Thanks, Donnie.
Thanks, Don.
I've never heard that he denied it,
I haven't either.
but I do agree they do look suspiciously similar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. And if you guys out there listening don't know what we're talking about, look up, do a Google image search of Oakland port cranes, and you'll see what we're talking about.
All right, we got another message.
We do. This one doesn't look like it has a name.
Oh,
so let's see.
John Jones.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey guys, your least favorite token hider here. Like to thank you and condemn you for pointing me towards the Fastest Woman on Earth movie.
Oh, interesting.
It was really kind of powerful. I mean, I really loved watching it up until the very end, and I'm still freaking crying about thinking about how it all ended there. But it was a great movie. I'm glad you pointed it to me. Thanks again. Have a good day.
I agree. I shed some tears.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, though, there was a few different points along the way. But yeah.
Our least favorite token hider?
Yeah, I don't know who that would be.
I don't know either.
It wasn't Borgia.
No, I wonder if the name escapes me, but I wonder if it's just this. It's the same guy that just hid the one in Southern California from Fresno area. And he just hid.
It is a Fresno area code.
Oh, yeah, it probably was him. And I do apologize. I don't recall the name. All I know is his email is something like Father Daddy or something like that.
Just call him LFTH.
He did just hide a token in the Fresno area.
I know that one is listed over on the Snail Squad Snail Trail 4x4 forum.
So if it's the same guy, thank you. I asked him if he wanted anything, like some stickers or swag or something for hiding tokens. And he said, no, you can just give me more tokens. This is fun.
Cool.
I was like, all right.
Perfect. Yeah, we need to make some more here. Okay, so the last one here is you'll see who this is. All right, here we go.
Donnie again?
No.
Yeah, hey, Chris from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. Just listening to one of your episodes here. I think it's the Rubicon to San Francisco or whatever. Anyway, that house you're talking about, Jimmy, is not from Step by Step. It's from Too Close for Comfort with Ted Knight, who was also in Caddyshack. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well, and got to keep correcting your show. So talk to you later. Bye.
I'm going to need to go back and watch the intro for Step by Step then.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the painted ladies were in the preview or in the intro scene for Step by Step.
Interesting. I can't even picture the painted ladies. Research time.
They weren't as painted as I remember them being either in real life.
The painted ladies, wasn't that Full House?
That's what I meant. No, was it?
That's what it looks like
Full
here
House.
on I'm just pulled up a Google image. Brian sent one over, and it looks like Full House.
Yes. So I was also wrong again, but it's one of those.
That's it. Cause I thought Step by Step was the one that had the roller coaster, and they were out near some theme park somewhere, and they had a roller coaster going on in their intro.
Full House. You are correct. Oh, it was also in Invasions of the Body Snatchers in 1978. It was
Sounds
in
like a fun
something called Junior in 94, and then Full House from 87 to 95.
Does it say anything about, what was it, Too Close for Comfort, or what did Chris say?
All right, I'm watching the intro for Too Close to Comfort right now, and it's possible. The house doesn't exactly look like one of the painted ladies' houses, but I do think that it's the same general area. It looks like it's from that's in that what same I'm park.
Yeah.
It's not one of the painted ladies.
I would agree. The painted ladies are much more closer together than the house that they're showing for Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah. But it looks like did you watch the intro?
No, I'm
There's
looking up the Wikipedia page. They have
There's
a bunch
a
of pictures.
panning scene of the park and going up the hill to the house. And it looks like they started the panning at the Painted Ladies and then went up to the house that they showed.
Interesting.
Which isn't technically in the Painted Ladies. So maybe, I mean, I think there's a strong possibility that it was in the intro scene for close to comfort.
Too close for
comfort. Yeah. But I was wrong. It wasn't Step by Step. It was what family?
Full House.
That's right.
Yep.
Which got rebooted here fairly recently.
Yeah. Right? The secretary has been watching all those.
Nice.
Fuller House is what it's called.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So thanks for the correction, Chris, even though you might be wrong.
He might be wrong too. He's halfway, right?
Yeah, he's halfway.
So another correction came in.
Oh, okay.
I had stated, we had talked a little bit about the water rights in California and how almond growers are sucking up all the water. There was one family.
Pistachios.
It's pistachios. And it's the Resnick family.
Right. I put the link to the dollop.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was like, and I kept searching. I'm like, where's this almond episode that he's talking about? I'm like, I think it's this pistachio one.
Yeah, it was the pistachio one. So we have quite a few almond grower listeners that let me know about this. Yeah.
Well, I was like, all in the area.
Well, I mean, very much apologize, guys.
But you pistachio owners out there.
Yeah, fuck you pistachio growers. No, it's funny. Once I had one person say, no, it's definitely pistachios you're looking at. You're looking for the Resnick family. That's the one you're looking at. And I was like, yes, you're 100% right. That is it. And he goes, yeah, fuck that family. They make us all look terrible and they're terrible people. And
we should have them on.
They're shutting down everything, every local pistachio farm in like the United States or at least California. I was
having an interesting discussion this weekend about just water rights in general.
Oh yeah.
It was funny. I was talking to a guy. This is completely, we're on a whole birdwalk here. He was saying that we should pump a massive amount of salt water into the Central Valley and fill it back up make it a lake.
Yeah, we don't need Tulare and Visalia and Fresno and Hanford. They didn't go away.
But he said that would start a weird reaction and it would start dumping rain in the Sierra Nevadas.
I mean, yeah, it definitely would.
And then I said, but then we'd be left with all kinds of salt left over in the Central Valley. He's like, yeah, that doesn't matter. That's a byproduct.
We can export. We can make salt in California export.
Doesn't make sense. But it was super fun. It was a funny, joking conversation, but yeah, it was pretty good.
That's fun.
And that's why that all happened while we were up at Joe's cabin working on his deck. This summer, he's been doing a whole remodel on his cabin. Mm-hmm. This is my buddy who lets me use his cabin kind of at free will to some extent. Good buddy from college. Been hanging out with him for a long time. And he got a cabin up by Pinecrest Lake area. And if it's not being occupied by somebody else, usually I can call him and say, hey, I want to go to the cabin. Is it available? And he goes, yes.
Nice.
You know how to break in? I go, yes.
Perfect.
And so for his generosity and letting my family use the cabin a bunch of times, I volunteered a bunch of hours this last weekend up there. And he already did the siding and he repainted the house or had it restained. And now he's ripped out the deck. They put the footers in and then I was there and we were laying the girders and making sure everything was level and just getting ready to start laying. There's a name for it, and it's just escaped me. But the beams between the girders, and then the planks on, planks on top. So our adventure was very tedious because we were having to really try to get everything semi-leveled. And I say semi because we weren't trying to get it leveled. We were trying to we were ever so slightly
so water drains off
sloping it away. We're doing like an 1/8 of an inch over 3 feet or something.
Yeah,
and so. From girder to girder, it was going down 1/4 of an inch because they had them roughly 6 feet apart. So we were, getting shims and making sure that the beams were level, but one beam was ever so slightly lower than the other beams and going down this little rabbit hole. So it took us a lot longer than we kind of expected. You know, I think the thought was, I can just drop these in and we'll go.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. We had quite a bit of, just small that's the word I'm looking for.
Intricate.
Thank you. Details, that were slowing us down throughout the way.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good fun. We worked. I drove up there Friday night, and we woke up at 6-ish, and we're outside working at 7 a.m. And pretty much stopped working about 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. And then we were outside working at 6 a.m. and finished working around 2 on Sunday.
On Sunday, wow.
Yeah. And then drove home. And on my drive home, I got a call about an hour and a half out. Hey, is this your computer?
Oh, no.
And laptop and bag? And I was like, yeah, it is. And he's like, do you need it? Like right now? Like, you know, we can take it home with us and you can pick it up next time. I'm like, yeah, I got to get Monday's podcast out still. I meant to try and edit it on Friday when I got up there, but then you guys got up there early. So I never finished editing Monday's podcast. I need it. And so I hung out down in Manteca for him to come down the way and met up with him then, and then drove home and then edited the podcast a few hours later after that on Sunday night. So that was a bummer, but it was a good weekend. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And it's always fun. I don't know. It's like, it's a different type of fun, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun to hang out with my buddy, but it's fun to get work done, and it's fun to see your rewards of your labor after the fact. And, you know, it's different than working on cars for me. It's just a different avenue of manual labor to some extent. And
working with your hands, doing stuff, building something.
It was, we had a good time.
Nice.
You know, joking, you know, jolly, you know, working together. It was a good weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
And another one of the guys up there was the one saying we should pump all the salt water into the valley.
From growing up in the valley, I 100% agree.
Right.
It needs a good cleaning.
Yeah.
Oh man. So that's cool. So you had a good weekend, and then Halloween.
Before Halloween, I want to say that with Mondays and Tuesdays podcasts that went out, we rolled over the total amount of hours we're allowed to store on our
that's right,
our hosting platform.
500 hours.
So we rolled over 500 hours, and so we needed to upgrade our service. And when we did that, for some reason, when I did the upgrading, for some reason when I upgraded and I said, hey, I want to leave, you know, the beginner plan or whatever and move to the intermediate plan, you know, we doubled our hours. I think we have 1,000 now or 1,200. They turned on ads.
Yeah, they turned ads on us.
During that integration, they turned ads on our platform. So if you listen to episode 344, part 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure I had it turned off before part 2. I apologize if there was ads playing. None of you need to weight loss. You know, none of you need.
I don't know, that Jason guy could use a little bit
digital storage things. I think I heard that one.
That's funny.
So we apologize. That was a mistake kind of on our end, but due to upgrading the service that our hosting platform provides.
We did make $1.60 though.
We did.
out of the 10 hours the ads were on or something.
Yeah. So that is kind of interesting. So, so sorry about that.
I'll take my 80 cents later so you can Venmo me.
Deal. I think I got a few quarters in my pocket right now.
Perfect. Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, unfortunately, ads got turned on, but I believe we turned them off. They should, if you still hear an ad, refresh it or something.
Let us know. Yeah.
Let us know on any new podcast. I think they should be off on everything now. So, but yeah, sorry about that. And, but I'm not gonna go too far out there and say some ads might be coming. There's that is a possibility in working with a company in the future.
But we're going to make sure that it's very much tailored to the content that we release here on the podcast.
100%.
It's not going to be about weight loss and data storage.
Data storage, a mattress,
wouldn't that be funny if we get pistachio ads?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, geez. They're definitely going to be about stuff that you guys are going to want to hear about, and it's going to be interesting to hear about it, and it's going to be done in a non super invasive way. So,
and hopefully, depending on how things work out, not very long either.
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, so sorry if you guys got those.
Yeah. So moving on, Halloween was good.
Yeah.
We went out with some of the mini assistants' friends. We cracked open a 12-pack of Surges.
Okay.
And finished all but 2.
Between you and the assistant?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. We had a phenomenal time. The kids had a great time. Got so much freaking candy. There was one of those powered skateboards.
Okay.
Have you ever seen those? And one of the kids let me try it, and I was like, "Put it on. What level are you on?" And he's like, "I'm on level 3 of 4." I'm like, "Put it down to 1." And then I rode it around, and all the parents were watching me, waiting for me to fall. And I couldn't make the first corner. I just wasn't used to like it accelerating through a corner kind of a scenario. So I jumped off of it and jogged for a second, and then I got back on and rode it the rest of a little bit more, and it was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Didn't fall down. Yeah, had a good time. The next morning, the assistant wasn't doing too good. I was shockingly better than I expected myself being.
No gout?
No gout. Not yet, at least.
Look at you.
Yeah. It wasn't. I think sticking to the clear liquids is better for me.
Yeah.
So I can't have beer or things like that.
A lot of beer.
Yeah. I can't have a lot of beer. That's for sure. Or I can't hang out with Dylan. One of the other. But yeah, we had a good time. The mini assistant dressed up as a witch. A bunch of the parents got animal onesies, and then we wore party hats. So we were party animals.
Okay. I was going to make a comment on your Instagram post.
Yeah.
About something about a furry convention, but I decided to leave that be.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
but I could get how you could, you could draw that, that connection there for sure. I was a dragon. The assistant was a unicorn.
Okay.
There was a kangaroo because he wanted a pocket in the front for his beverages. I thought that was super clever.
Yeah. A unicorn has another significance in the furry world, just FYI. You should look that up sometime.
Well, yeah, maybe I will. Let's see what else was there. There was a red raccoon. There was an elephant. I don't know. There was a bunch of onesie animals and wearing party hats, and we called ourselves party animals. Okay. But we had fun.
That's good.
You draw your own conclusions, Tyler.
I am. Nice.
What'd you do?
For Halloween, actually, Halloween is actually MFer Sean's birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
So he's a Satan child of Satan.
Excellent.
And so
that answers so many questions.
It actually does, right? So I took the MFers out to the shooting range after work.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I went out to the Sacramento gun range, and really it was because they're doing happy hours on Mondays. So from like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., there's no range fees.
Oh. I was like, you get a beer?
You get beers? Hell yeah. It's like axe throwing.
Cheap beers, and then you can go shoot guns.
Yes, right.
That sounds smart.
No, not smart. But anyways, they do free lanes. So you don't have to pay for the shooting ranges, the shooting range fees to go in and use lanes between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Mondays. And it just so happened that Monday was also Halloween, which is also Sean's birthday. And I wanted to demo some CCW guns.
Oh, nice.
Some pistols. So I was like, you guys, let's go.
There you go.
So I took them all out, had a good time. We had a range night, a range evening. And that was pretty much my Halloween. The secretary stayed home, and she said that only 3 groups of kids came by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody come by my old house.
Oh, well, yeah.
Usually there's one family.
Any kids that go out at night around your house has to get worried about being taken away by coyotes.
No, those coyotes are in San Francisco.
Oh, that's right. Okay. They have to be worried about taken away by driverless cars.
Yeah, that especially in my area.
Your area's got to be worried about bicyclists taking them away.
Yeah, bicyclists taking over the road.
Yeah. Anyway, so she was really disappointed because she was looking forward to passing out a shit ton of candy. So now we have a shit ton of candy at home.
Perfect. We got a candy bowl here. Thanks, Gear Wrench Corey.
Mm-hmm. So that was Halloween. This weekend, though, my goal was to start working on the axles.
Okay. How'd that go?
Not good.
What? Why not? What happened?
I had brought home everything for the rear axle.
Yep.
And laid the third member on the ground, the axle housing on the ground.
Did you move the third member by yourself? Can you move your third member by yourself?
Not very easily.
Yeah.
That's
what she said.
We had to move it over to the truck using the forklift.
I would. How heavy do you think
and
that
then
thing
just
is?
kind of like rolled it off of the forklift into the back of the truck. I would say it probably weighs a good 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Easy. And so, but getting it out of my truck and into my garage, that sucked. Because the box that it was in was completely trashed from pushing it off of the forklift. Yeah. So I had to pick up the whole third member by myself and carry it out of the truck into my garage, and then gingerly put it down on the floor without just dropping it and breaking my post-tensioned slab of concrete.
Right. Or your back.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I had the third member on the ground. I took the axle shafts, put those into the third member, and then put the unit bearings on the end, and then realized I didn't have any drive flanges.
Oh, no.
I've totally forgot to order up a drive flange kit for the rear axle.
Oh, crap. So that means that the drive flanges are pretty much locking not auto locking.
It's a drive slug.
Yeah,
it's a slug. It's a drive slug that goes in there, and then there's a cap that goes on the back to keep the slug from falling out.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's what's the furthest point out of your axle.
For the most part, yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's the measurement that you need to set everything at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was like, I thought about for a second putting my mile marker hubs in there and seeing where the engagement point was, and I was like,
they're the wrong splines.
I don't want to. They're the right splines.
Oh,
yeah, they're 35.
The front ones.
Yeah, the front ones.
Got it.
Taking the front mile marker hubs, putting them in there.
I thought you were talking about your Forerunner.
Oh, the Forerunner ones. No, yeah, the 35 spline ones I have for the 05 and up unit bearings. So anyways, I thought about putting those in and trying to gauge the measurement from there, but I was like, you only get one chance to cut an axle housing.
No.
I mean, I guess
not true.
That's not true. You could always just weld it back on and do a full pin
you
weld.
don't have to cut it short.
Yeah, but I
cut it long multiple times.
I guess that's true. So anyways, I decided to wait until I have the drive flange kit in so I can get all the proper measurements off of it before I cut the housing.
Good idea.
But I've had people now ask, how do you cut an axle housing when you already have the axle shafts? Because typically you do it the other way around.
Sure.
You figure out what you want your WMS to be and cut the housing for what you want the WMS to be. And then you take measurements and order up your axle shafts. And I'm doing it the other way around.
Yeah. Because you're stupid.
Because I'm stupid and got two 300M custom axle shafts for $400.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story turned into a short one. I don't have drive flange kits, so I didn't want to cut the axle housings to the WMS and do all that.
So how do you cut axles to the length of an axle shaft?
Good question. So essentially what you have to do is you have to lay out your axle without the housing so that everything, all the parts minus the housing are in their line, right?
Okay.
And so you have your splines on the ends of your axle shafts need to have a minimum 75% engagement. So if you have 2-inch section of splines on the end of your axle shaft, you need to have at least an inch and a half.
Inch and a half
of splines engagement in your third member on that end and an inch and a half spline engagement on the other end.
Yeah. Driver and passenger sides into the third member.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so that means you have, if you have a 2-inch section, you have a half an inch of play that your cut on the housing can be within. So what you do is you put your splines in all the way, or put your axle shafts into the differential all the way that they can go. And then look and make sure it's not hitting anything and pull them out slightly so that they're not hitting anything. And then you measure with your unit bearing and drive flange there. You measure the total width of your axle, and then you take into account down to where your unit bearing mounts over your axle tube, and you figure out what that is, take that difference out of the equation as well. And then you take that number and you can be within that number minus an inch, but I mean, half an inch, because you're doing each side.
Half an inch per side.
Yeah. And you have to find the center point. You have to find a common reference point on the center section of the axle, which is typically what I do is I find the center point of the axle. So I cut the axle directly in half and make marks on the center section.
You cut the axle directly in half?
No.
That's what you said.
Okay.
You marked it in the center.
Yeah.
So that it's even halves that you're measuring off of.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I know what you meant, but you said,
okay.
yeah, you cut it directly in half. I'm like,
Gotcha.
whoa, that's aggressive.
Well, you just weld it back up afterwards. It's
yeah,
fine.
just straight on to the third member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so you do that. Once you have those measurements, then you've got that distance from the center to your outside that you measured minus the overlap of the unit bearing and the tube minus half an inch, or that number to that number minus half an inch is where your play is. So I usually just cut the difference in that, cut that number.
When you do it, do you leave the half an inch so that you have a little bit of wiggle room for you to make an adjustment?
The first time I did it with gear wrench coils for an axle, yes, I did that, left an extra half an inch. And then it ended up being, after I got that cut off, I remeasured everything and it ended up being perfectly right on that extra half inch. So I cut the extra half inch off and it ended up being perfectly set.
Are you doing this with an angle grinder?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now I'm borrowing a portaband for this one.
Good idea.
Yeah. But yeah, with an angle grinder, it takes a long time to make the cut because you have to be very, very careful about your cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of math.
It is. It's quite a bit of math. And so my goal is once I get the dry flange kit in, I want to lay it all out and kind of explain it in a video so people can see it and visualize it. But then the front, once I have the rear cut, I'll have the WMS. And so I'll be able to take that WMS and just set it up on the front and then order my axle shafts later.
Right.
So
the front, you're doing the normal way.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
I'm doing the easy way on the front. So anyways, I don't have the dry flange kit, so I couldn't do any of that. So what I did was I cut the hole for the fill plug and welded that in.
Okay.
So that's all welded in and it's all, the fill plugs are ready to go now. But that's all I got to do on the axles.
Wow. That's too bad.
It was too bad.
Yeah.
So instead I did some other projects.
Oh, yes. You, looks like you finished the bar.
The bar is pretty much done.
Okay.
We added underglow lighting around it and it looks phenomenal with that on there. And then after we kind of had to move around that whole nook where the wine was, we put one of the wine fridges into the bar. And then we were originally going to put the kegerator in the bar, but I messed up and made the bar too short.
Okay.
And so the kegerators don't fit in the bar.
Oh, no.
Can't get them in the bar. So now we put the smaller wine fridge in the bar and we're putting the kegerator back in the wall and moving the wine rack over to the other wall next to the bar.
Oh.
Between the two
so
windows.
You're putting the kegerator fridges against in the nook.
Yep.
Got it.
So there we'll have the wine fridge, which is the same size as the kegerator fridge. And we brought one of the other kegerator fridge down to use, and we're going to build shelves into that one to use as a can fridge.
Okay.
And so we'll have the three fridges back there in the nook, and I'm going to build a countertop above them to kind of hide the fridges a little bit that we can also use for storage for liquor and cups and glasses. And one of the can fridge will also be one of the glass fridges.
Nice.
For cold glasses.
For a short stint there, I just used a piece of plywood in one of those fridges.
Yep.
Because they have slots where you're supposed to put the metal grates. Yep. And I don't know where the metal grates left long ago.
Yeah.
And so I think I just I found a piece of plywood that was a 1/4 inch or whatever. And I slid that into place. And that's what I was using.
That's what my plan is for these, except we'll probably paint it. But
can you put the, one of the fridges has a sticker on it that says property of Cal State Monterey Bay. Make sure to put that one on the outside.
On the outside?
Yeah, okay. People need to see that.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to see.
If possible. Yeah. I don't know. But you texted me and you asked, how many kegs did you have in this thing? And I only ever put one full-size keg in each. And so were you inquiring that because of trying to figure out how to run the hoses?
No, I inquired it to figure out the sizing because we were out at High Water Brewing when I texted you to do that. Okay. So I forgot to take measurements of the inside dimensions of the fridge beforehand. But if I knew what you had put in there, then I could figure out the dimensions from there.
Right.
And so you had what's called a half barrel.
Yes.
Full keg is a half barrel. And we're looking at doing sixths.
Right.
So they are
cylinders.
Yeah. 9 inches diameter by 24 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think
they're the same height as a half barrel.
Yes.
But they're what?
9 inches instead of, I think a half barrel is 16.
Yeah, it's big.
And so anyway, so that's what we're looking at doing is doing sixth barrels and putting those in, having 2 of those in one fridge. And I
bet you could have asked Barry for empty ones.
Oh, to go test them. Barry wasn't there.
Oh,
yeah. She wasn't there when we went.
Well, text her.
I know. That's a good idea.
And say, hey, can I borrow 2 empty cylinder kegs to do a fitment
test
of my kegerator?
Yeah. And
she'll probably let you borrow. Even if you're like, I'll borrow them for an hour.
Well,
like, I'll bring them back in an hour.
I would just pay for them because you're going to have to pay for the keg the first time you get them anyways. Because every other time you're returning the keg. So it's kind of like a core charge.
They do a deposit sometimes. Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So the plan is to have,
or if there's anybody out there that has 2 cylinder kegs that Tyler can have, hit him up.
Yeah, hit me up. So anyways, was getting all that set up and it's all there now. They didn't have any kegs ready to go at High Water when we were there. So I said, no problem. I'll talk to Barry and we'll figure out and have a couple of kegs made up, ready to go. And we'll go from there.
Perfect.
So also on our adventure outing to High Water Brewing, we also went over to the meadery.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Up in Rancho Cordova?
Up in Rancho Cordova, the Strad Meadery.
What did the secretary think of it?
She liked it.
Did she?
Yeah. She goes, I don't know what mead I've had in the past, but I hated it. And this was amazing. It was really good. So they said that they do 6th barrels, kegs.
Jeez. That'd be so sweet.
Yeah.
So the number one issue I had with kegs throughout my time with the kegerators was making sure that the pressure, that there was no leaks in the pressure. So when you hook the CO2 tank up to it, that there's no bleed off or anyway. So we would often close the kegs or disconnect them so that whatever pressure was inside of the keg would be contained and hopefully it wouldn't go flat over time.
Okay.
I do think that maybe it was better just to leave the CO2 on the whole time so that it was kind of constantly keeping the pressure, but I wasn't completely sure on how to keep kegs for like multiple weeks. I never figured that out, but so there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve there. And hopefully it's just as easy as leaving the CO2 on and leaving pressure. And but whenever we had kegs, one, they probably didn't last the night, but 2, anytime we needed to keep one for an extended period of time, they always went flat on us over time. So I'm not sure why that it was completely.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to figure that out. I'm sure it'll take a little bit of playing around with, but
absolutely. Yeah.
It'll be a fun project.
Little learning curve for sure, but that'll be cool. It'll be fun to get some beer in there. That'll be rad. Or some mead possibly.
Yeah. So we'll have all of our wine, all of our beer, and all of our liquor all in one little spot.
Nice.
Which will be nice. Along with
just in time
drinking glasses and everything. Yeah.
For episode 350 coming up. Which I guess I had deleted from the show notes for the last 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
So I put all those back in. So the question Google form is down there. So that episode is coming up pretty quick here in a matter of weeks. So if you haven't entered a question or put a question in there for us and you are always wondered something, make sure to go check that out and leave us a question and we will answer those on episode 350.
Yep. 350 is what we're going to be going for. So other than the bar, we're just waiting to get the CO2 bottle, which I filled up this morning.
Nice.
And so I'll have that back. And then we got to get a couple 6th kegs and put them in there.
You got regulators and all?
Yep.
Did that come in the kit I gave you?
Yep.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah, all the parts are there. The handles, all the tubing, the regulators, everything's there. So
You might need to drill some more holes in the fridge.
maybe I've got to look at that. I'm probably sure we're gonna have to, but yeah. Anyways, so I did that and got the bar up and pretty much the bar up and running, and then I also finished up my fire pit finally.
Oh, nice job.
Yeah. So it came out really good. Nice and clean, fully encaged fire pit. So we shouldn't have to worry about embers going up anywhere.
Cool.
And so at the same time, I called the city of Sacramento because I was like, I have a lot of motor oil, used motor oil.
Okay, yeah.
I know Sacramento has a recycling program for motor oil. How do we get into that? How does that work? They're like, well, you just put the motor oil out on your curb, you schedule an appointment, and you put it on your curb in a clear container. So I was like, okay, where do I find these clear containers at? They're like, oh, you just use a milk jug or a water gallon jug. And then once you have the motor oil in there, you tape up the lid. And I was like, I don't buy either of those.
Yeah.
How do I was like, all the containers they're in right now are the retail containers, which you can't see through them at all, but they're labeled motor oil. And they're all, yeah, we have to be able to see that all you have in there is motor oil. And I was like, okay, do you guys have containers set aside that we can get for that? Or I can buy off you or something? She goes, nope, you have to supply your own. I said, all right, I'll dispose of it my own way then. And I was like, I have my fire pit done now. So I'm going to have some nice fires going here soon.
You are.
For this winter. So that's what I did. And then
I want to make a fireplace that burns the motor oil.
As for its main source of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You hook up the air compressor to, and the air compressor sort of vaporizes the oil that's slowly leaking into that. And then you just ignite it.
Yeah.
And it just continuously, like more or less makes a small flamethrower in a way. But then you do that in a fireplace and it warms up the fireplace. I want to make one of those for the shop.
I'm thinking about trying to find a way to build a funnel with like a really small orifice in the bottom of it and just have it drip down into go down a slide or something into the fire pit.
Just do it like a turn valve. And then you just ever so slightly.
Like valve,
yeah. Do you have any ball valves around?
Not anymore. We have a couple from the boof stick here.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Oh, man. So I did that. And then yesterday when I got home, I took the 4Runner, parked it up on my driveway with the front end way up, and then jacked up the front end even further.
Okay.
And used the plastic neck for the coolant to put in the radiator for burping the coolant system.
Okay. Yeah.
So everything is much higher.
Yeah.
Because I did a little bit more research on the 3.4 liter engine. Apparently the 3.4 liter engine is notorious for being difficult to bleed the coolant system properly.
If you would have told me I have one of those plug fill fillers or whatever, that's a big container that has a plug that you can pull out and push back in, so you can fill that with radiator fluid.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Oh, you have one too?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good job.
Thank you. So I was using that before and putting that on with just the 4Runner regularly elevated. And from all the research I read, it's either a flow problem or I have an air bubble in the system. And so I'm like, I'm going to rule out air bubbles first. I'm going to really lift the entire front end of the rig way up in the air. And then I'm going to sit there with the engine revving at 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs, squeezing the upper radiator hose to try and
make some movement.
It creates movement in the flow and works the air bubbles out. And I got a few air bubbles out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
decent sized ones or like
decent. They were not little baby ones.
Okay.
But there was only like 2, maybe 3, but I'm like, that's enough sometimes. So it is 100% fully bled. There is no more air in that system. I can guarantee it. If there is, then
it's impossible to bleed.
It's impossible to freaking bleed that thing.
Yeah.
So I need to go out and drive it around now and see what it does.
Yeah.
So
well, report back, and I know you will.
Yeah. So that was my weekend.
Nice.
Tried working on axles. Didn't get very far.
Fail.
I built a midget cage for my fire pit. And
Success.
And I got the bar up and running, which looks really good. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited to see it in a few weeks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll bring a bottle of wine down and drink your beer. Yeah. And then get gout.
I have some Fireball for you too.
Thanks. Yeah. That's everything I've always wanted.
Yeah.
I was listening to Marlene, the plant lady's most recent podcast of things to do in the month of November with your garden.
Okay.
And then they jumped into listener questions, and then they were talking about this caterpillar on some plum tree, and they were talking about giving it an insecticide or something like that, just spraying it over, and it was called like BT. Okay. I don't know what it stands for. I don't remember. Or maybe it was DT. I don't remember. One of those.
DEET?
Huh?
DEET?
No, it wasn't DEET.
The mosquito repellent? Okay.
Anyways, they'll eat it off of the caterpillars will eat it off of the leaves, and then their body can't digest it. So it turns it into crystals, and then it tears them up from the inside. I was like, this sounds so familiar.
Sounds like gout.
It sounds like you're giving them gout with this pesticide.
Oh, that's funny.
I was going to write her and tell her, but she'll probably, Joe, if you listen to this, or Sherpa, make her hear that section. It was funny when I heard it.
Oh man. Did you see the text I sent in the group? Yeah. Did you see that
I
on
didn't
Good
see
Day?
that episode. I was up at the cabin.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
It was was it Friday morning? I missed it somehow. I wasn't, no, it was a weekend segment. Because she's only on Sundays.
Yeah. Because I was sitting around in the morning, BS and wasting my time in the morning before I started working on stuff.
No, shit. Yeah. It was Sunday morning, I believe. And I wasn't. I was up at the cabin, didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. So yeah, that's it. Fun episode. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Unless you had more to talk about.
Nope. I'm ready. I'm mentally preparing myself for this one chip challenge.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Thanks.
We'll probably record it. Whether or not we air it will be another thing.
Sure. And if there isn't an episode out next Thursday, Tyler will be looking for another co-host.
That's because Jimmy died.
Yep.
And I might also be needing to hire somebody as well, because Morphlite Sean will be dead too.
Yes.
So, cool, man. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
I'm not going to partake, but I will sit here and watch you guys from on the other side of the room.
Die. We might send you out to go get ice cream or something.
Need some half and half.
That too.
Yeah. And
what's his name?
Yeah, it's gonna bug me. I had let that go, Jimmy, and now we're back on trying to find his name again.
That was a good Hot Ones though.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that one, you should go watch it, because he then starts reorganizing the hot sauces into which ones he liked best. Oh. And so he was like, "No, this one's crap," and would throw it away. And then we got to the end, and he set their hot sauce fairly high up on the line.
Nice. Cool. Anyways, that's all we got. If you guys want to get a hold of us, leave us some voicemails. Tell us your thoughts on some movies that we've talked about today. If you listen to the Resnick episode and have some choice words to say about pistachios, you can do that as well. That's 916-3454-744. And you can always reach us over at email, over on Instagram, over on our Facebook page for the Snail Squad. You can find us on Irate 4x4. There's a lot of different places you guys can get a hold of us. So I'm sure you guys know most of them by now. So without further ado, Jimmy, do you have any final words for everybody out there?
Ingredients: corn, sunflower, and sunflower oil. What? It's just sunflower. That's weird. Carolina Reaper pepper, scorpion chili pepper, salt, blue number 1.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
You have a joke.
I do. It's shocking, I know.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't dinosaurs talk?
Because they're extinct?
Yep.
Perfect.